Hello, my name is Nick Dinsmore, and this is my story on the Nick Dinsmore YouTube channel. Last episode we talked about my career in 1998, wrestling for WCW a little bit, wrestling for Ohio Valley Wrestling, as well as Music City Wrestling. So tonight, I'm going to party like it's 1999. I was dreaming when I wrote this, forgive me if it goes astray. We would like to thank our sponsor here. You see it back here, Budweiser. Now, I don't always drink beer products, but when I do, you best know it's a Budweiser product. A Bud Light, Budweiser, phenomenal. Midwest All Pro Wrestling is going to be having a live pro wrestling event in Harrisburg, South Dakota on Saturday, May the 30th. Lucky Lund is challenging in a triple threat match. Lucky Lund is challenging for the heavyweight title. The champion is the time-traveling DeLorean, and the triple threat is between those two and Freak Nasty. Now get this, follow this. Lucky Lund owns Harrisburgers in Harrisburg, South Dakota. And he says if he wins the heavyweight title, Saturday, May the 30th, in Harrisburg, South Dakota, that everybody that goes to the show is going to Harrisburgers for free ice cream. That's right, I said free ice cream if Lucky Lund wins the Midwest All-Pro title. But you got to be there Saturday, May the 30th in Harrisburg. Follow me on social media at UGENE Dinsmore, DINSMORE. Be sure and like, subscribe, share, comment. Check out the previous episodes. Let's get on to 1999. Done with this page. Hiya! So at the beginning of 1999, I did wrestle for WCW in January. There was a WCW Saturday night tapings. I was in a tag match. My partner was one of the WCW power plant trainees. I don't believe he wrestled much longer after that, but we wrestled the Armstrongs. Scott and Steve Armstrong. I knew that my trainer Danny Davis had wrestled in Pensacola, where they all wrestled, where they live, where they own the territory down there. And said, Danny Davis trained me, and they just, both of them took me, okay kid, let's go. And just, they let me sell, but they let me show some fire, get some moves in. It was really cool that they didn't have to do that because it was a squash match, but they made me look good. So when I was going to WCW, Terry Taylor was in talent relations, or he was the one that was calling me in. He was my contact. I remember every week, waiting for that cell phone to ring. My first cell phone, brand new cell phone, ringer on high all the time, waiting for that thing to ring early in the week. Sometimes he would call, sometimes he wouldn't. But after the January 5th, Gainesville, Georgia, WCW Saturday night taping, WCW called no more. My phone did not ring. And I waited and waited, but alas, it would not ring. So I found out years later from a lot of the guys that were starting out when I was also there in that short amount of time, that my name continued to show up on the WCW booking sheets. So I was booked for TV. I was booked for Saturday night. But no one in the office called and told me. I had no idea. I should have done a better job making contacts with people that I could then get the stooge report and gossip. Or just be filled in and be smartened up. So if I continued to be booked, I would have been booked during the New Blood Rising push, the New Blood Rising angle WCW had in 2000. If I would have known that I was booked in WCW, would I have been one of the New Blood Rising wrestlers in that angle? Would I have been one of the WCW wrestlers in the Invasion angle in 2001 if I had known that I was continually being booked, which I was? But unfortunately, I didn't know. But Terry Taylor soon got hired by WWE and extended an offer for a developmental contract at the end of '99. But there was a long build-up for that. I remember early in '99, I was a substitute teacher, but I had to take a week off because I got to go to a tryout at the Stamford, Connecticut building. And they really don't do those there much anymore that I know of. They might, but when I went up for the Eugene stand up for a WWE campaign. I went to the Stanford building, the same building they had the tryout in, which is the off-site building where I guess they have different stuff there. I don't remember the specific date. There were 6 or 8 of us. Dr. Tom was the coach. Myself, Reckless Youth, Dan Chad, who was a Olympic wrestler, Joey Legend, Just Joe, Chaz Taylor, and unfortunately I can't remember who else was in the group. In March 1999, WWE Raw was in Cleveland. I was an extra as an orderly. I remember being at the building, Ohio Valley Wrestling on Sunday nights. We had our events on Sunday nights. Cornette was at the pay-per-view with WWE. Called Danny. We need X amount of guys to be extras tomorrow in Cleveland. Nick, can you get a group to go? Yeah, let's go. And I remember Robert Briscoe went. Who else was there? Frank Miller was there. Doug Basham was there. Rob Conway was there. I believe Danny Basham was there as well. And at the time, I don't remember what was going on exactly, but Kane got kicked out of the Vince's group, and Kane was getting taken away by the orderlies, played by us. And we walk out there in our white coats, and China jumps out of the ring and says, "No, I can save Kane," or something to that effect. And then they kicked the shit out of all the orderlies, and we just got knocked down. And then they continue on for another 5 or 10 minutes in ring promo, and all the orderlies are just laid out in the rampway the whole time. Ah! But that was the first time I was an extra. I was an orderly. I think I had that video on the YouTube channel. I will try to make a playlist with some of these. May 1999, WWE Raw. I remember Danny Davis called me, I believe, if I remember correctly, called me Sunday. That would have been May 23rd. Owen Hart died in the accident in the Kiel Auditorium, which is in Kansas City. The next night they were in St. Louis. I was booked for St. Louis that next Monday night. My first night to wrestle for WWE, I wrestled against Kurt Angle that night in a dark match. And it was I was so excited to be there, but yet the atmosphere in the locker room was like the worst thing you can imagine. It was sad, but I was like really excited to be there. And Kurt and I had a really good match, really solid, and it was just a good night for me, but it was a tragic night for the business. We were in St. Louis. The very next night, maybe someone can help me with this. SmackDown had not yet started, but I remember going to St. Louis on Monday, and on Tuesday we went to Moline. But SmackDown hadn't yet started, so I think they taped a Raw on the Tuesday following the live Monday, and we weren't on the road consistently enough to know, but we went the very next day, Tuesday, to Moline. Rob Conway wrestled Kurt Angle in the opening dark, and that was when The Undertaker and the Ministry and Austin, and the next week I think he put Austin on the cross, or maybe it was the week before. Regardless, I was a druid, and I got to carry the cross, big iron, huge thing, out to the ring. We stood around the ring while Undertaker cut his promo in the ring, and I gotta tell you, that building got hot. They were chanting Stone Cold, Stone Cold, Stone Austin, Austin. In the building, everything's vibrating. I'm standing on the floor outside the ring, and Taker's just drawing all this heat, and it was heat. The building got hotter. I was sweating, vibrating. And then after we're all going back, all the druids carrying the thing back, and that's when Austin pulls the hood off, and he's one of the druids and kicks the shit out of everybody. And I think we had already left. We left the exit first. But it was really cool to be a part of that, because I was ringside. And all I could do was just stand there and just pay attention. And it was so awesome, the energy that was in the building that night. Austin ripped that thing off. Austin. So from that Monday, being in St. Louis, there was a carload that got booked for St. Louis on Monday, and WWE hadn't planned on booking us on Tuesday, but because of the events that unfolded, a lot of things got pushed to the Tuesday taping. So they said, hey, can you guys come tomorrow night? We could, but not all of us could. Some of the people, there's a van of us that drove from Louisville to St. Louis, 4 hours. East, west, sorry, I haven't lived there in a while. West to St. Louis. Moline's north. So we had to go back to Louisville and drop off a few people and then take the rental van to Moline. And this was the ride back that Frank Miller, Trailer Park Trash, had a few beers, had maybe a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of the Persian rugs, and had to urinate. And I told him I wasn't going to stop. We had to go 4 hours, get back to Louisville, drop the people off, and turn around and get to Moline. We had no time to waste. He had the big gulp that he had before we left, and he drank all that, and we're 30 minutes into the drive home. I gotta pee. Go in the big gulp. So there he is, Frank Miller, Trailer Park Trash, down with the pants, on his, like here, right? White body showing. So I turned the lights on inside the truck and driving past families, and they're looking at us, and there's Frank Miller on his knees, urinating into a big gulp, and just right up to the rim, whoof, set in the container, gets dressed, rolls down the window, pours it out, all of it right back in. Boom! Doug Basham, Danny Basham, Jason Lee, I think, Rod Steele was there, Conway was there, and just right in everybody's mouth. Piss just went all around the van. Whoosh. So then I pulled over to take a piss. But it was a horribly smelling ride to Louisville to drop some people off and then drive to Moline to do it the next night. But wouldn't have it any other way, right? So 1999, July rolls around. Jim Cornette arrives at OVW for his first TV taping. So 1999, WWE creative team member Jim Cornette bought a stake in OVW and expressed his interest in starting a full-service developmental territory for up-and-comers. Cornette, a native of Louisville, was also looking to move closer to his home as he was not fond of living in Connecticut, where the WWE was based. Cornette taking a role as booker and show writer while appearing in and on camera commentator role. I don't know who that was. Made his first televised appearance July 10th, 1999, spoke of the changes that were to take place. The first WWE contracted talent to be signed to OVW. It's going to be Rico Constantino. The first group of stars that would come in then would prove to be historic, as probably the best prospected class of athletes in professional wrestling history. I mean, everyone knows the list. I made a little list here, because I know this isn't everybody. Rico, Batista, Orton, Shelton Benjamin, Brock, Cena, Victoria, The Collector, Sylvester Terkay, David Flair, Brian Kick, Robbie D, Ron Waterman, Russ McCullough, Dave Nelson, Stefan Gamblin, Scotty Saber, BJ Payne, Mark Henry, Mike Bucci, Beth Phoenix, Big Bad John Heidenreich, Jindrak and O'Hare, Bobby Lashley, Carlito, Dupree, Masters, Matt Morgan, Boogeyman, Brent Albright, Horseshoe Luther Reigns, Damian Sandow, John Morrison, Matt Capitelli, Jazz, Sharmell, Rodney Mack, Tom Cole, Kevin Thorne, Nick Nemeth, Linda Miles, Jackie Gaeta, Cliff Compton, Elijah Burke, Muhammad Hassan, Johnny Jeter, Chris Cage, Armando Estrada, JTG, and R.I.P. Shad, Mac Johnson, Chris K, Goose Mahoney, Damon Thompson, Lowrider, DJ Gabriel, Mike and Tracy Taylor. There was a huge influx. All those people didn't come right away, of course. That was a list that I was around, people that I was around in my time there, going into 2004, up to 2004. So I just kind of put that list together. But back to 1999. So I've had my tryout. I've been an extra a couple of times. Cornette comes to the OVW, and Rip had been winding us up. Cornette is a hard boss. He's difficult to work for. He's going to scream at you. You think I'm bad. And Rip is the all-time worst that will put you in your place, with like make you feel this big, but still coach you at the same time, and you can learn from it. But he would just put us in our place, and Jimmy's 10 times worse than me. You guys aren't going to stand a chance. And we were nervous, the whole locker room. Trailer Park Trash was there. Rob Conway was there. Vito Andretti was there. The American Eagle, Jerome Hatton, was there. The American Eagle Jerome Hatton is from Hazard, Kentucky. So he's got a real thick Kentucky accent. And Jason Lee, so in OVW it was a skinnier room with 2 benches and the TV was on one end. So everybody had to look kind of down the way. And of course Jack Black was standing in front of the TV, every fucking TV. So we all had to look down, right? And Jason Lee, being the prankster that he was, would slip his bare behind on this side of your face and proceed to apple dapple right in your ear. And he called it basing someone. And you'd get a little heat on your ear and kind of gross. So that day, Cornette was there. He's in the office. Everybody's nervous backstage. Oh my gosh. I'm watching the video. What we're going to do? Jason Lee comes up on Jerome Hatton. Goes to base, but it was a little bit of follow through, a little bit of water, a little bit of mud. Splatter right on Eagle's face. You shit on me! Oh my God, you shit all over me! And Jason's trying to get him to calm down because he didn't want to rile up and Cornette and find out what's going on. So he's trying to keep it down. Went all over the place. It was disgusting, like the high stress moment. And there's Jason Lee, just a little bit too much coffee and cream, probably, right? Bubble guts. Awful. So at the end of 1999, December of 1999, I remember at the time I was going to college at IUS. I was working as a substitute teacher. I was working at the Texas Roadhouse, although they wouldn't let me serve. They didn't trust me enough to serve, so I was a host. I was seating people, and I wasn't even good at that. I was wrestling at the same time, working on my communication degree at Indiana, and I got hired December of 1999. I remember JR was the one that was the head of talent relations at the time, so he signed me, and he made it retroactive, I don't know, a couple 6 or 8 weeks or something. But at that time, that was like, oh my God, it was like, just all the hard work leading up to it had paid off, and I was making $300 a week, and I was in love, living on my own, had a job. Oh my gosh, wrestling for a living? Are you kidding me? This was it. Now granted, some of the WWE talent that were sent there were making much more than that. But at the time I didn't care, you know. I was getting paid and I had my developmental contract. The end of 1999. Thank you for everybody for enjoying these My Story videos. We will branch on into the 2000s as I develop as Mr. Wrestling Nick Dinsmore, as the influx and the influence of Jim Cornette in Ohio Valley Wrestling, with the influx and influence of the talented superstars that were now coming in. I had to step up, and we will talk about that in our next episode. Thank you very much. Like, share, comment, subscribe. I need a closer. I don't know what it is. See you at ringside.